Thank you very much. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you for the warm welcome, everybody. As mentioned, I'm Chris Kohler. I'm the finance editor at the Nine Network, which means that you might see me on the news, which is where I am weeknights. You might also see me mucking around a bit on social media, which I also do. It's a real pleasure to be here talking to you all today about change for the better, because it's obviously a very juicy topic. It's rich for discussion, and I suspect that there's going to be a lot of talk today about macro change for the better, whether it's environmental change, political change, industry level change. For the next few minutes, if it's all right with you guys, I want to talk more about the micro than the macro. Change at an individual level or at a company specific level. And I'm going to do something that's a little bit gross. My wife kind of tried to talk me out of doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to play a video of myself talking to myself in front of you nice people, which we decided is kind of the public speaking equivalent of burping at the dinner table. You might get away with it, but a lot of people are going to judge you for it. But here we are anyway. Look, I'm okay with that because we haven't got that long, and this video is a bit of a shortcut into what I wanted to talk about today. So here comes my burp at the dinner table. Look, this is a video about the invention of the digital camera, which a lot of you may be familiar with that story. It happened in 1975 inside the head offices of Kodak. It's a 37-year history told in 56 seconds, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's have a look. Guys, I've invented this camera that doesn't need any film. Steve, what the why did you do that? What? Oh, because we sell most of the world's film. Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. Just hide it. We'll put a patent on it, but just don't tell anyone about it. Hey guys, I've got a new version of that filmless camera. You want to see it? Steve! Oh yeah! I'm sorry. I just want to say, we are killing it. That disposable camera idea was really good. We are the 4th most valuable company in the world. Geez, those digital cameras are getting pretty popular. Shut up, Steve. Tried to tell you. We should probably file for bankruptcy, hey? That was a good run. Okay. So, hands up, who's judging me for playing a TikTok video in a public setting? Hands. Not as many as I thought, 1 or 2. Okay. I feel pretty good about that. Thank you for indulging that shortcut into what I want to talk about. Look, the theme, as mentioned, of the conference is change for the better, and I weirdly think that this story actually fits in there. It's actually pretty much a true story. Steve is a real guy. Steve Sasson, he's 74 now. He lives in the south of Florida. All of that stuff went down in upstate New York in a town called Rochester. He actually got in touch with me not that long ago to say that he thought the video was amusing and basically how things went down, very basically. The video's been shared around a bit. It's been viewed about 15 million times since I put it up in July across a few platforms. A lot of people have put it on LinkedIn under the banner of the innovator's curse or the innovator's dilemma, which is not something I was that familiar with before. I'm getting there now. It's basically how hard it is to present a new idea in an organisation that is set in its ways or at least resistant to change. And a lot of people in the comment section have taken the opportunity to make fun of Kodak and say, how did they stuff this up? They had the inside track, it was presented to them first, what a stuff up. All true, all fair ways of looking at that story, and to be fair, that's how I presented the information. But after sitting on this story now for a few weeks, I've now decided that I reckon that what Kodak did is not only understandable, but defendable. Why do I say that? Timing. Timing is everything in business. And remember that invention was taken to the board in 1975. 24-year-old Steve takes this blue Frankenstein-looking box with a lens on it up into the boardroom, plonks it down, gathers everyone together, say cheese, takes a picture, and using a cassette tape, has that picture up on the wall within 2 minutes. Absolutely revolutionary, never before seen in 1975. But then also remember that the peak of Kodak sales in the US wasn't until 1996. It had major contacts and contracts, I should say, in the military, in Hollywood, and it had consumers eating out of the palm of its hand. So between being presented with this major invention and the peak of its own business was 21 years of blue sky growth before the decline even started. And to be clear, before I go any further, yes, Kodak should have invested much more heavily into R&D of the digital camera. We know that now, in hindsight. But maybe they weren't as dumb as I presented them to be in that video. Maybe they saw this invention and saw the horizon of their business, but also saw that it was still a long way off. I reckon this is the whole point, or at least the whole point that I'm trying to get at. Every business leader has to decide if their business is here for a good time or a long time. We all assume that the goal of every business should be to live forever. But how often does that actually happen? Businesses create and fill markets, and then markets change really fast. 87% of the businesses that have been on Wall Street's S&P 500 index over the last 60 years are now out of business. And 97% of the Fortune 500 businesses in 1955 are no longer with us. Businesses have always struggled to change for the better. And average people like us also struggle to recognise good and bad change when it's popping up. So we should probably go a bit easier on each other and businesses for that. Because remember that in 1997, when the decline was already underway, Kodak's share price was at $80 and Apple's was at 10 cents. If it was also obvious what was going to happen next, then we should all be rich because we would have piled into Apple shares and shorted the absolute bejesus out of Kodak. It happens all the time, this stuff, all over the world and all around us. It's kind of happening right now. This year we saw Commonwealth Bank overtake BHP as Australia's biggest listed company by market capitalisation. That is to say, the retail bank is now bigger than the mining company in Australia. That is a big change, and it only just happened. Is it change for the better? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All businesses, though, have a lifespan that includes growth, plateau, and decline. It's just a fact. Now think back to Kodak again, because it grew basically non-stop for the entire 20th century, and we laugh because it became bankrupt in 2012, which is my fault. I mean, I did that. I couldn't and didn't give the context, all that context, and I've been thinking about it, obviously, since. And yes, Kodak should have become the biggest name in digital cameras. There's no doubt about it. They had the early look. And it could have been Instagram, if you think about it. I think the point here is don't laugh at Kodak. Decide whether or not you want to be like them or not, and no wrong answers. Do I want to be here for a good time or a long time? It's a good question. Those Kodak moments pop up with an increasing regularity. And it seems pretty clear, as mentioned, that the Kodak moment for most businesses right now is around generative AI and the how and the where and the why of adopting it into our businesses. Do I put it at the back end to help with efficiencies and B2B stuff, or do I put it at the front end, dealing with customers and chatbots and the like, or do I leave it out? Avoid it entirely, because I don't want to deal with the overhaul of my business model that's been working okay, and just quietly, I reckon there's a bit of blue sky ahead, the way that I'm doing things. No wrong answers. But I think that Kodak teaches us that it is important to give an answer. Because in their defense, Kodak did give an answer. You might argue it was the wrong one. They might argue, effectively, that it was a right one. And it actually doesn't matter because, as I said, Kodak's just another business that has come and gone. The point is, make sure that you're not just along for the ride when the landscape changes. Make sure that you are controlling your careers and the businesses that you either run now or will eventually run. Because the absence of a decision is just as risky as making a decision. And there are no wrong answers. I wish you all the best of luck in making those decisions when they pop up. Being here at an event like this, I reckon, means that you're pretty much all over it already. Thank you very much for listening to my burp at the dinner table. If you'd like to see my stories on the news, please tune in at 6 p.m. on 9 or download the 9 Now app. Contractually obliged to say that every 20 minutes or so. If you'd like to see more silly videos of me talking to myself like that, you can see them at Chris Kohler News on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you'd like to email me, I'd welcome that too, mail@chriskohler.news. All the very best, and have a wonderful day, everyone.